It's 10 o'clock. We'll go ahead and open the meeting. The first thing on the agenda here, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and remember our service people that are out there protecting us even as of today. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first item on the agenda is to consider the approval of the minutes of the January 23rd, 2014 meeting. Could I have a motion?
I'd move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Our next item on the agenda is consider a register of claims totaling $648,716.91.
I would move approval of claims totaling $648,716.91.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Before we get into old business, John, you had something you wanted to cover with us? Or maybe it is under old business. It is on the agenda here.
John Anderson, District Engineer. Wanted to give an update on the High Street emergency project we have going. This is down at just south of the Horizon Center, where we've had a pipe beginning to collapse. United Consulting has been working on a plan to reroute the sewer to the west, and they are finalizing plans today and tomorrow, and that will be ready to be sent out for quotes in order to move construction along. We're looking at probably about a 2-week until get the quotes back and then approve the contractor to begin work. And
Okay. Any questions
Well,
from the
John, so
board?
we have a list of some local contractors that could do this kind of work?
yes, we do have a list that we work with, and United has included a couple that they know that are in the general area that they would recommend that we may also get prices from.
Did they give you a budget?
Roughly $120,000.
Okay.
A good point, Mike. Wherever we can use local, we certainly want to lean that way. It's real important to keep the people locally working. So,
Right.
Joe, any comments?
Just how many days we think this might take, or
I think they were looking at maybe 3 to 4 weeks total
30
construction
days?
time.
Yeah.
So this, John, this will go down Seymour Street. So will we need to talk to the convention center people and let them know? Will that disrupt any?
We did have,
You done
we
that?
covered that at a meeting. Now, what we did do, though, is we've asked our PR people to cover, with Nikki
Okay.
Grisby, to cover everything that's going to be all the way through the downtown construction.
Okay,
That we'll have news releases with maps, and we'll cover all that.
okay,
So, yes, we did take that in consideration.
Okay.
good. No, I don't have any more questions.
Good, okay. So I guess we need a motion for a change order project WC 2012-1,
Or is this just an update?
or is this just an update of that?
Let me look.
I guess we did, we approved
We did
the
that.
emergency,
Yeah, like we did last time.
so it's just an update. Okay, fine.
So you anticipate at our next board meeting, or 2 board meetings from now, when are we gonna open the bids?
In talking with United, that was another question, is do we need to open it during a board meeting or not? They were hoping to give the contractors at least a minimum of 2 weeks
Okay,
from when it's sent out to have their
In the past, in emergency projects, we didn't get permission to move on it because we did declare it an emergency.
okay.
We didn't have to open it at a board meeting, and Mike's not here, but we always report it at a board meeting.
Right.
We get an update
That's about right.
of exactly what we spent and what the quotes were.
Correct.
So that's what we've done in the past, so,
So in other words, we'll solicit bids from local contractors and say we get 4 bids back. Then we will look at the bids,
Yep.
I
Yeah,
suppose.
I guess the only question, and I think I recall like Bill does, and our legal counsel, this goes to my court.
Yep.
Do we have to call a special meeting
to issue that.
to issue that.
And I just don't, but normally in emergency, we haven't, but I don't want to say.
Well, that's
the
a
legal
pretty
point.
good chunk of change.
Yeah,
just-
exactly.
just-
So, and we'd like to do everything in open
Sure.
anyway. So
Yeah.
we would much rather do it at the meetings than not in meetings. Okay, so,
And honestly, I don't want to hold, we shouldn't hold up
Right.
the construction of this for
Although
an
the-
extra week and a half because we don't.
so it'd be a,
doesn't coincide
so it'd be a
with the board.
special meeting in fact. Okay, John? So will you, well, you know, I would suggest from what I'm hearing from the board here is that we just go ahead and get this and have a special meeting and get it done. Would that be, what would the board like to
No
see?
big deal. Yeah.
So why don't we just do that, okay?
right.
Let us know.
All right, thank you. If there any, anything else, John?
I'm next.
What's that?
I'm just waiting for the next one.
Oh, all right, let's go to the next one. What's the next one?
Change order?
Okay, now I'm into the change order project, WC 2012. Okay. John?
All right. This change order is on the White River Interceptor Rehab Project. Incorporated in this, a field trailer was not in the original contract, so as part of the project, so that has been added and it's part of this change order. Another item is on what is called segment N1. This is for a segment of pipe that when the project originally went out, the Army Corps of Engineers was not going to allow us to line, but during the process, Westler Engineering and myself and Harold Duncan met with the Army Corps in Louisville, and they have determined they would now let us line. So that was added back in and is now part of this change order. And then the third remaining item on the change order is the contractor, due to the weather, both the flood, that heavy flood at the end of December and the extreme cold and the amount of snow we've had, asked for a time extension of 60 days, and that is also part of the change order.
And this is all on the levee project, John?
The
that
White
re-
River Interceptor Rehab, which runs along the levee, yes.
This project extension, the district will incur no extra cost with that extension?
That is correct.
They will absorb all the inspector fees and
That is
everything?
part of it, that any inspector fees will come out of the final contract.
John, what's the estimated cost, increased cost of this change order?
It's right on, because it was line, we had a unit cost on the, that lining, the 35,697.10 is the net cost. Although there may be a final price depending on if they need additional grout when they do this segment N1, they
Okay.
have to grout prior to the lining.
And we already have a price for that, just
Unit price,
measuring the
yes.
quantity and paying.
Right,
Give me that number again, please. 35,000 what?
697.10.
And John, that's a unit price for so many lineal feet of?
Right, we had a linear foot unit price.
Okay.
And that was, so that total was based on
So
the
that what you,
190 feet on that.
okay, so actually, we're putting another 190 feet of new lining in pipe that wasn't in the original contract?
Correct.
Okay.
So the change order is three things: a time extension of 60 days, this pipe lining of
That
36,
segment.
and what's the third one?
The job trailer was added into the,
Because of 008, because we didn't
correct, 008 was the original where the
The
job
Huey
trailer was
Park.
gonna be.
work, was gonna be, the trailer was put into that one.
Right, and since it was not awarded, we had to find another place to
Okay,
pay for a trailer.
Right. Gotcha. Okay.
very good. Any questions, sir?
You need a board approval?
I think we do for the change order, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a motion for change order WC 2012-1.
I would move approval.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Thanks, John. Good job. I make the assumption that lining that pipe is gonna actually save us money in the long run. Would that be a good assumption? Or just,
But it saved us money not having to do open cut
yeah, that's what I'm, you know,
on that.
right. Very good, okay. Anything from the audience at this point in time? Any comments? Anybody want to come forward and give us some good advice?
Can you improve the weather?
Pardon me?
Can you improve the weather?
Actually, I brought my Alaska cup here today, so we'd all feel at home, okay? I have one from Hawaii, but I figured this would be more appropriate, so. With no other comments from the audience, we'll adjourn the meeting, and the next meeting will be Thursday, February 20th, 2014, at 10 o'clock, same place. Thanks, everybody.